Hello folks, dead or alive. A friend of mine is going to bring this 624 to the dump. It's in really sorry shape. It's been left outside for years. It hasn't been run in years. It looks like a hopeless case. He said, hey Anthony, can I bring it over and see if you can bring it back to life? So that's what I'm going to do today, is show you the step-by-step on any machine like this to see if we can bring it back to life. All right, let's have a closer look at this machine. It looks kind of rough. It's got all kinds of rust and corrosion everywhere. You can tell just by cursory glance of it that it's been left outside for many years. And I can see why he wanted to bring it to the dump. It looks horrible. But the first thing I did, let me show you, the very first thing I do is make sure that it will turn over. That's not seized up. So I'll pull this. It turns over, so there's a possibility there. The next thing I do, I removed the plug to save time. I moved the plug. This machine did not have a key when I first started working on it. So I removed the ground wire underneath here from the ignition switch. I removed the ground wire. So that puts the engine on all the time. Your key switch is actually a kill switch. So now it's on all the time. Let me put the key on. This is what I did originally. The key's on. Now I'm going to check for spark. I don't know if you can see the spark plug. Let me see. Well, I can barely see a spark. So that's encouraging. So let me put the spark plug back in and we'll go from there. I reinstalled the spark plug, made sure that the cap clicked on. I put the muffler back on. I had it off so you could see what I was doing. Now the next thing I do is see if it will fire, at least almost start. So what I do, I'll spray a little bit. Now before I did all this, I checked the fuel in the tank. It was very, very cloudy and dirty. So I'm not going to use gasoline from the tank. And I drained the carburetor also. Let me spray a little bit. Okay. I just want to see if it turns over. Otherwise, if it doesn't, it's got the spark. I want to see if it will turn over and fire a little bit. I got the key on again. All right, let me pull it. Looks like I have to fix the recoil. Well, that's great news, folks. Now that it runs, I know it will run. I can take the time and the effort and the money to work on it some more. Now, if it didn't spark, it could be the coil. It could be the coil. It could be the spark plug boot. Actually, I would change out the spark plug, put a new plug in there and see if it sparks. If it doesn't spark, then I would check the boot and check the coil by removing the coil cover and seeing how dirty it was and the air gap, etc. So now that I've got good news here that it will start, what I did next was I cleaned out the fuel tank and flushed it. And I changed the fuel filter. And inside the tank, it wasn't rusty, which was really, really nice. So I flushed out the tank, put new gas in. I put the machine up on the nose. I took the elbow off And I did an in-frame carburetor cleaning. And I'm not going to spend all the time showing you how to do it here. We have a video on this that I'll post a link to at the end of this video. Or you can go on the channel. Anytime you're looking for a specific video on a repair or a maintenance point, go on the channel and use the search function. Type in what you want. So on this, it would you type in carburetor cleaning without removal, and a video comes up. It only took me about 15 minutes because I did not have to remove the carburetor. So I cleaned the carburetor out. I've got the new gas in there. And another thing I had to do, it had no throttle cable, so I had to replace the throttle cable, which wasn't too difficult. All right, let me see if it will run now. I'll turn the key back on. I've got the gas on. I don't know if I need the choke. It's kind of warm today, but I'm going to try the choke anyways. Isn't that amazing? That's really amazing. I mean, the thing's been left outside for years. But a little bit of work got it running. Okay, the next question, important question, is whether it's going to drive. Now, the first thing I did, of course, I already checked the oil in the engine. It was a little bit low, but the oil was there. I checked the transmission oil in the reservoir cup. It's fine, but the belts are horrible. Let me show you the belts. Here are the belts. Look at the dry belt. I mean, it's just, I cut it off. And your auger belt has all kinds of cuts and deformities. So I had to replace the belt. So once again, we have a video on how to replace the belts. I'll put a link on the end, or typing replace belts on Honda Snowblower. So I've got a fairly good new auger belt on it, and I replaced the dry belt. So after doing that, let's start it up and make sure. Well, I'm going to have to fix this recoil. As you can see, it's a little bit loose. All right, let's put it in the engage position. It was in the release position. Let me start it up again. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, you look at this machine in person, it looks a lot worse than it does here. You know, and I can understand why the owner wanted to take it to the dump, because it really didn't look like much. But that's the step-by-step I go through to see if the machine is worth doing a service on. I've got the engine running, I've got it driving back and forth. I put the new belts on, and now I can do a general service on it. I'm going to, you know, check the augers, tighten down everything, make the adjustments to the cables. It's missing a chute cable. I haven't even investigated or inspected the cables yet, so I'm not sure if they need changing. You know, all those little things in a service are kind of minor. As long as you have the engine running, you've got the machine driving, the rest of the machine, I believe, is worth servicing and repairing. So I hope this helps you. You know, you pick up a machine from the dump or from a friend or it looks like a lost cause. Those are the steps I go through to see whether it's worth trying to get it, bring it back to life. Okay, folks? So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you think this helped you. And we'll see you next time.